Hey everyone, this is my review slash thoughts for Sailor Moon Crystal, episode 10. Now, this episode was very much plot filled. It was all about the story. Um, we did get to see some action towards the end of the episode, which I gotta say, the battle scene was pretty epic. But this episode was about, you know, Sailor Moon, Usagi, and the rest of the girls going to the moon to find the ruins of the Moon Kingdom and see if there was any messages there, like any trace of their past that would tell them about their lost memories. And they find a pedestal with the their holy sword stuck in it, which they don't not realize that that's their holy sword just yet. And just like in the manga, Sailor Jupiter, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Mars try pulling out. They really don't get much done with it. And then Venus, she goes and pulls it out. And funny enough, you know, Venus, she pulled it out, but her pulling out, it's more than just like, oh, well, I'm stronger than all of them put together, It also symbolizes that she is the leader of the group, as she has already said in the story. Um, if you remember the last episode, she's said to Sailor Moon as Princess Serenity. Do you remember that I am Sailor Venus, the real leader of the Sailor Guardians? So that's what that sword represents. But Queen Serenity tells them, like this: Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, that's the holy sword to protect the princess. It belongs to you. You know, um, and she goes into more detail into what happened in the past. So, she just kind of touches up on the information we learned in the last episode, and then she tells us something that wasn't explained in the last episode, which was how Usagi, as Princess Serenity, died. The fact that she was filled with so much grief over her, Mamoru, Prince Endymion's death, she actually committed suicide. You know, it's supposed to be like a Romeo and Juliet story, so it makes a lot of sense that it would happen this way. I mean, because that's tragic, knowing that the person you love is dead, and that you saw it happen, and she couldn't deal with it, so she tried to end her suffering herself, which Queen Serenity also went on to say that with her power she was able to steal Queen Metalia away, and somehow that forced Earth to reset itself, time the whole I guess you know beginning humankind and everything living on Earth. And with her magic, she reincarnated the girl. She didn't explain it that way. She just said they were reborn, but it was her magic that did it. So that's what happened, and she hinted at it when she says that Princess Serenity, you are the Moon Princess, but remember now are also a normal girl, and your rebirth lies in that. And then she tells the other girls to protect Princess Serenity, of course, and her last words, which this part was actually very sad, like because of the undertone, the fact that Usagi was seeing her mother from her past life, and when she says her last words, "I don't have much time left, Princess Serenity, please be happy," and just vanishes like that. It's sad to see that, but it gives the girls the determination to protect Earth even more after realizing everything, and the fact that Princess Serenity would always sneak off and their personalities weren't very different from the way they are now. Um, and when she would sneak back in, she would always get caught by someone. In this case, Sailor Mars, which I'm glad that now they saved the characterizations up until now because it kind of makes the show unpredictable. Because if we knew more or less how they were going to react in on the Moon Kingdom when Usagi was Princess Serenity, we would have been able to predict every move. But since we didn't have characterization until now, it was unpredictable. So now that we know, we can predict. But for the most part, we didn't have anything to go by. So I'm glad they kept it away from us until now because they needed to. It gave the show an edge. Um, what else did they do? I had a bit of a mental block, so forgive me for that. But now I'm back on track. There, they got to see their past, and this is only the first half of the episode, but a lot was packed in so much that it felt almost like a complete episode. And then on the next half, we see the Dark Kingdom. We see Queen Beryl going to talk to Queen Metalia again, and the Shiteno, the four generals, they go to follow her and listen in on the conversation. And she mentions needing to do everything before they regain their lost memories. And I think it's just the fact that they had lost memories, and once their suspicions were confirmed, that it triggered them to remember their past. That they were Prince Endymion's knights, his bodyguards, his court, the same way the Sailor Guardians were to Princess Serenity. And then of course they confront her, and she just brainwashes them, not even telling them to forget, just brainwash them, and it's like, okay, it means nothing. So it's as if they're asleep again. But that leads to the next part where they're starting to freeze up the Earth, mainly with Tokyo, which makes me think about Sailor Moon S from the old series. Then, we get treated to this epic battle scene where each girl's fighting one of the generals. And remember, Sailor Venus knew something that all the other girls didn't, because back in episode 8, she was talking to Kunzai. She said, please return to your old self or your normal self. And now is when she tells them, that they were the knights who served Prince Endymion, and we met them before. And all the girls get a flashback. Then they remember, like, that's right, we met them before in our previous lives. They because they start saying it all as they remember. That one day Princess Serenity snuck out of the palace to go see Prince Endymion, and we followed her. And then we met them, and then we fell in love. Which changes everything, because at first, all except for Venus, they were getting ready to kill their lovers without realizing it. But once they got this information and regained these memories, it made everything more complicated for them, because now they didn't want to fight because they don't want to kill the guys that they love. But Queen Beryl's using the guys that they love against them. So that's what makes this even more tragic, and dark. You know, but Sailor Moon, she saves the girls, of course, and then she this was already established in the manga. So some people, if you didn't read the manga, then of course you're not gonna realize this, but Sailor Moon, as well as the other guardians, they do have the ability to fly, because at some point they have to use that in the manga. And I don't want to say it because because if I do, it will spoil the story. But yeah, they do have the ability to fly. It shows up in the manga. So because Usagi. She flies into the moon, uses moon healing escalation to basically exorcise the entire planet to heal it of all that evil energy. And the girls decide to use a Sailor Planet attack to try healing the guys, the Shitendo. But they get away, and then we end with another cliffhanger where Queen Beryl brainwashes Mamoru, Tuxedo Mask, to go after Usagi. So I can imagine that the next few episodes are gonna be very action packed. There's gonna be a lot of story, but there's gonna be a lot of action too. And by now, like we're definitely gonna start to see more of Queen Beryl's backstory because right before the final battle takes place, we see her backstory. So now's that point in the story. So we got 3 more episodes, and then season 2. The next story arc is going to start, which is exciting. I can't wait for it. But anyway, you know, comment, rate, do whatever, and have a nice night, y'all. Bye.